what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to JT's Mixtape. This is episode number 75. And if you guys are enjoying these podcasts, please give me a 5-star review on either Apple or Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you.
Come closer, my child.
What's going on, y'all? This podcast is brought to you by Modern Roots Life. Modern Roots Life is a Christian-owned and operated company, and it's bringing real health back to its roots. They offer powerful, all-natural health supplements such as beef liver, cod liver oil, beef tallow, magnesium, and mineral-rich salts, all sourced the way God intended. Clean, simple, and from the earth. So whether you're looking to boost your energy, restore mineral balance, or just fuel your family with real nourishment, Modern Roots Life has got you covered. Guys, in this community, we're trying to get healthy in our mind, in our body, and our spirit. So don't neglect your health. If you want more information, check out modernrootslife.com and check the link in my description. You know, people often ask me how they can support me. Well, I think it's pretty cool if you can support me by supporting the people who support me, and you get something in return. And being healthy is a pretty good return. Well, family, we've got another show for you. We're, 3/4 the way to 100 episodes, so we're getting there. I don't know what we got planned for the 100th episode, but I guess one day at a time, one episode at a time, and maybe we'll get there. But we got the whole crew together today.
We could do it all in person, bro.
Maybe we could do a live show. That would be amazing. But we got Demon Racers here. What's going on, Brian?
What's up? Nothing.
And we've got Aaron here. Sans hat. What's going on, Aaron?
Yep. Here I am.
Bro, you've never not worn the hat on the show.
I'm changing it up for the 75th anniversary.
right, exactly. So we have a banger of a show today. I'm excited. We're going to talk a little bit about the Artemis stuff because it's so clownish and it's something we have to talk about. But we're not going to do a total moon episode again. But I've got some videos maybe about Antarctica, maybe some Disney stuff. And I'm going to turn this over right away to Brian. Brian says he's got some excellent videos today. And maybe I was teasing one day that I might have to just turn over the keys of the videos to Aaron and Brian here and just let them have a field day and I'll just be reacting. But maybe we'll just start with one video for today. What's going on, Brian? Show us the video.
Okay, so first we just got to mention that, we obviously see the audacity of how crazy Trump is, but this dude made a video. I just got to play this. It's entertaining.
I wonder what would happen if we finished off what's left of the Iranian terror state and let the countries that use it, we don't, be responsible for the so-called strait. That would get some of our non-responsive allies in gear and fast. President DJT, if Iran doesn't fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours from this exact point in time, the United States of America will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest one first. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump, with a little more time, we can easily open the Hormuz Strait, take the oil, and make a fortune. It would be a gusher for the world! President Donald J. Trump! Remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait? Time is running out, 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Glory be to God! President Donald J. Trump! No, Trump is not losing his nerve on Iran. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one. In Iran, there will be nothing like it. Open the Strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell! Just watch! Praise be to Allah! President Donald J. Trump!
It's so sad because it's so true and he's so unhinged.
I couldn't help but think, imagine Sam Kinison reading those tweets. You know what I'm talking about? You know who Sam Kinison is, Brian? You probably don't, do you?
No, I don't.
Don't you remember the guy? He was a comedian from the 80s and he had long hair. He actually used to be a pastor. And his deal was he would yell oh, after he said something. He was in Remember the movie Back to School? He was the history teacher.
I don't remember it. I've never seen it.
Hey, Ron, you got to back me up. You know who Sam Kinison is, right?
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
He was hilarious.
Sam had, yeah, he was
loud though. He was obnoxious.
loud, but that's how he talked. He'd be like,
That
he
was
would
his
tell a
shtick.
joke, and then he would just all of a sudden get real shrill and loud to
Yep.
put the emphasis on there. But yeah, I mean, it is clear like that is how Donald Trump is tweeting. I guess he's always kind of tweeted like that, but I mean, it's only been more hinged and psychotic over the past week. And of course, the last tweet he read, that was literally on Resurrection Sunday. He's talking about putting these people in hell, and then he's saying, "Praise be to Allah."
Yeah, dude, the way he's mocking them, crazy, man.
Dude.
While talking about himself in the third person.
Dude, it's so, like, I can't believe this dude is so unhinged. He's just like, he's completely lost his mind. I've come to the conclusion, there was a thing in the Epstein files where they talk about projecting thoughts into people's heads. I've come to the conclusion that Trump is, he's being MK Ultra'd, and I'm pretty sure they're projecting thoughts into this dude's mind. He's probably hearing voices, and he's probably has no clue. He probably thinks God's talking to him. I mean, Paula White's not helping, telling him that he's like some kind of prophet or whatever. So I think he's literally to the point where he is like completely delusional and doesn't even like, he's not attached to reality anymore. He's just like he's just exactly a puppet of whatever voice is talking into his head. It's got to be MK Ultra.
He was raised for this. Like, he was bred to be this. Like, he knew this was going to be his role his whole life. Like, this didn't happen by mistake. If you go back, like, I don't know if you guys have dug into his history, but like from the moment that he was in his military school, before he was even like a full-blown adult, he was being bred for this and trained for this. They call him the tip of the spear. And even in those pictures back then, just like the upside down arrow that is made at the bottom of Trump Tower, the upside down triangle, and they call him the tip of the spear. And even in the photos of him at his military school, they're making a spear on the steps out in front of the school, and he is at the very front of it. He's at the very tip of it, representing being the tip of the spear. So this has been a lifelong work of what's going on. But I agree with you, Brian, at least in the sense that something has shifted completely with him. Something has changed completely with him. And I don't think it's just because he's a great actor. Like, he's not the same person that he was just a few years ago even. Like, it's like there's no holding back.
Well, there was a situation too where he was trying to placate Christians to get their votes the first time, and he was saying that he was saying he was a Christian, and he was saying he's a Presbyterian, and then in his second term he's saying that being on Air Force One was the closest he was going to get to heaven. Yeah, and then you see all his other behavior.
And then he converted to Judaism.
Well, I want to say that all the way back, I want to say going back to the Art of the Deal, and I remember reading, I think it was in the forward part of the section, he was given some kind of credit to some Kabbalistic rabbi for some kind of guidance. This is way back.
I don't think he just converted. I don't think he was ever trying to hide it. I think his allegiance was with them the whole time. I just think that he fooled the Christians. See, to me, I never thought he was a Christian. I never thought that he was like, I never, if you watched what he said, and you watched the way he worded things, and you watched the way that he played the American church so hard, it was so easy to see through the entire time. The only people that got like totally fooled hook, line, and sinker were the ones that just wanted to believe so badly that there was a human in the flesh that was going to carry the torch for the church, for the Christians. But like, he never, like, the verbiage that he used, the I don't know how to explain it, but like, there was never any fruit. Like, at no point was there fruit at all. It was just a few choice words and a few speeches that got people excited and leaning towards the fact that he might be. And I'm not going to lie, there was a brief period of time, like, I held out hope. Like, I was like, maybe things are going to change. You know, maybe he's going to change while he's in office. Maybe he's leaning towards that. Maybe he's going to get saved and things are going to shift and we're going to have an actual Jesus-fearing believer, Jesus-following believer in office. I held out hope for a minute, but unfortunately, my gut told me it was always going to be the way that it is.
You know, I
He's
just
a
looked
prophet,
up
apparently.
Trump's mom, and it's Marianne McLeod, and I guess she obviously became married to Fred Trump, and it says down here in her bio that she raised her children in a Presbyterian faith. But it says later, and it says if you look into her death, it says she died of pneumonia in 1999, or actually she died in 2000, and she died at Long Island Jewish Medical Center in Hyde Park.
Jewish Medical Center. Interesting.
And
That's strange.
I mean, maybe
look at who bailed him out in the 90s, dude. The whole truth is behind who bailed him out in the 90s. The guy that bailed him out in the 90s was Jewish.
Wasn't it a Rothschild? Wasn't it, or somebody had a connection with the Rothschilds?
I don't think he was a Rothschild, but he was a heavy hitter.
I think if you're in banking at all, you probably have some connection to them.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know.
No, but I mean, if you think about it, I mean, that's how like modern Judaism is said to be, is that you're Jewish based on your mother's side. So if, you know, so what if is a situation, if like, when does the mom have to convert in order for the kids to be considered Jewish as well?
What if they killed his mom at the Jewish Medical Center?
I mean, she's old. I mean, she was pretty old.
Sacrifice.
She was pretty old then too. So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, who knows? But I mean, yeah, it is. I'm not saying anything specifically because we don't really know, because it's not like you couldn't go to a different kind of faith hospital. But I mean, it is interesting that I know in different places in New York and New Jersey, they have their own police forces, they have their own hospitals, and they have all their own deals. Like, so why would
I
you
would not go?
There's tons
I would not
of
go to a Jewish hospital.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's tons of Catholic hospitals, tons of them. So, like, why would she have gone to that one?
Yeah, I'd be like, nah, I don't want to go to the Jewish hospital. Let me die. Like, I'd be like, forget that mess. Bro, okay, you mentioned Easter. I want to share one more video. This one's so funny because I can't believe you guys haven't seen this one because I just showed you a glimpse of it.
Really quick, before we go there, I just want to show a couple of things. Sorry, I should have shared these sooner, but I wanted to show you guys a couple of things because I was talking about them referring to Trump as the tip of the spear and how they have had this planned for quite a long time. So I'm going to show you guys this really quick. So I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of times. Let me figure this out here really quick. Oh, so like you guys have seen him doing this plenty of times, right? So like going all the way back to when he was in his military school, that's him. That's them on the steps making that giant spear. That's him in the very front at the tip.
And then he dodged the draft to not go to Vietnam by saying that he had bone spurs.
And then this is his tower, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Giant. I mean,
as above, so below.
It's a lot of coincidences, but again, tip of the spear forming that downward triangle right there, just like this, and that's him, right in the front.
Interesting.
So,
yeah.
Well,
and obviously we do know that in his penthouse in Trump Tower, it's all filled with all this Apollo imagery.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very specifically. Anyway, sorry. Let's transition.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Could be interesting if it was all planned for sure. But let's say this. Okay, ready? This one's definitely planned.
I have so many questions.
Gosh, it's so funny.
Hold on. Was she trying to get, was it like sticking to her hands and she was trying to get it off her hands? Is that why she was freaking out?
I think she just wanted down, maybe, or something. I don't know.
Dude, that looked like a skit from a movie. That looked like something out of like a National Lampoon's movie, dude.
Dude,
What the heck?
Dude, when it first opened, I thought she was like, I was like, wait, is that girl like hurt? Is she like dead or passed out or something? And then I was like, oh no, she's alive. And then it's like, there's like so many motions and roller coasters you go through. And then all of a sudden she's like being lowered down and then the domes come off. You're like, oh, like, what?
That's insane.
Yeah, that was something. I saw another one. I can't find it on TikTok right now, but it looked like somewhere maybe in like the Philippines or some other place, or maybe it was in South America. It was hard to say, but they had a Jesus that came up and he was on this crane.
And he fell?
Did you see? No, he didn't fall, but he was like, they're swinging him around, and it was.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
It was a little bit silly.
I saw the one where they had a Jesus reenactment one where they had him on a cross, the actor, and they lifted up the cross. Like as soon as they set it up, he just fell off the cross. It was pretty.
Well, I
it was
mean,
pretty.
so the video just
terrible.
played though. It looked like the angel came out of some kind of an egg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was that about?
Like, dude, who knows what that was about, bro? Like, dude, this is the kind of stuff that makes religion terrible, guys. We need to not do these things, guys. This is why everybody dislikes like religion and institutions like this.
You know what's crazy is how many situations make more sense, or should I say make less sense, if you envision Jesus standing there with you as you observe it.
Yeah.
For real, like if you just envision him standing there with you, like envision yourself at that event, the confusion we would have, right, as humans. But then, like, if you envision yourself standing there next to Jesus, what he would have seen, like what his interpretation of all that would have been, like it would have been, he might have gone up and tipped that statue over and been like, "What are you guys doing? Like, what in the world?" A lot of things make a lot more sense when you kind of include Jesus in the mix and you look at it from that perspective. Because, like, what were they trying to do? Like, what was that idol in the middle? Like, what even was it? I wasn't even able to make it out.
Some Mary statue that they were unveiling, I think.
And they decided to use the egg just to throw a little razzle dazzle of cliche Easter in there.
I have no clue what that was.
Was she? Was she supposed to be an angel? Kicking and screaming all the way to the Mary statue?
Yeah, lifting the black veil. Maybe there was a demon. Maybe she was fighting a demon and she took the demon off the statue.
Maybe once she touched Mary, the demon started going crazy. That's insane, man.
By the way, I found that I guess it was Korea. They had an Easter thing. Check this out.
I'm pretty sure the crane operator missed a couple plot lines in the story.
He just kept taking him.
Yeah, dude, he was lifting Korean tranny Jesus all the way up to heaven, man.
That was wild. That would be scary. That looks pretty intense.
Yeah, dude, like that's terrifying for sure. Like, oh man.
Yep, they go hard in Korea though. That's for sure. All right, should we shift gears and talk about some maybe Antarctica?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
You guys all love Antarctica. So here's a video that I've been meaning to play for a couple weeks now, but for some reason I just never got to it. Check this out.
So he got all of his equipment confiscated after he tried being the first IRL streamer out of Antarctica. Just 1 hour after he started live streaming in Antarctica, he has his Starlink taken away and is told that he can't get it back until he leaves the continent. His Starlink is what allows him to live stream from virtually anywhere on Earth. Now, the community notes are saying that it was just the cruise ship policy, that they don't allow Starlinks on board because they want you to pay for their internet or whatever, which sure is true because he was on a cruise ship at the time, but in the video you can hear him getting told that he can't get it back even when he goes on land.
You have a Starlink. Yeah. Okay. It's confiscated. You will receive it on the way back. You can't use it on the land. You can't use it on the land. No.
And then he posted this video saying this is what he saw before they took away his Starlink. Some sort of massive wall of ice with a cave entrance going into something. Antarctica is the most gate-kept landmass on the entire planet, and we occasionally get glimpses of what people who went there claim they saw. Like that time Mr. Beast, who did a whole video in Antarctica, let it slip on a live stream of what he claimed he saw there and got really nervous after.
Have you ever been to Antarctica? Yeah. Do you believe in the Icewall? Yeah, I saw the Icewall. Yeah, you saw it too. I can't say on straight. No way, but we'll talk about it later. That's crazy. Yeah, he almost leaked it. Let's just say you always need someone with you when you're in Antarctica.
Here's another clip of Neon, who claims that Mr. Beast told him something about Antarctica, but it's Neon, so take it with a grain of salt.
No, but you know what's crazy, bro? I kid you not. Chat, is it not possible to time travel? In Antarctica, they have portals. That's cap. Okay. Well, okay, how do you know? Huh? Like, okay, I know. Why? Trust me. Okay, but why? Trust me. You've been to Antarctica? No, I just know. I'm telling you right now, don't ask questions. There are portals in this world.
Last year, this guy, Ethan Guo, tried flying over every continent on Earth and got detained in Antarctica for 3 months after he flew over a tiny little island down there, possibly getting debriefed and being told that he didn't see anything down there. There's this whistleblower, Eric J. Hecker, a former contractor for the government, claiming they're experimenting with high-tech weaponry down there.
In 2010, I was selected to go down to the South Pole Station in Antarctica for an entire year by Raytheon Polar Services as an employee of a third-party contractor for the National Science Foundation. The technology at the South Pole Station certainly can do what it is presented as its primary purposes, and unfortunately, much more. Unfortunately, when they first fired it up, that was when we had the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand. There was 2 incidental shots before they were able to target it correctly. This is an earthquake-generating device as well.
This encyclopedia from 1958 that talks about a 13,000-foot-high ice dome in Antarctica. And finally, there's this speech by Admiral Richard Byrd, the OG granddaddy whistleblower of Antarctica.
Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this Earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Well, Admiral, do you hope to see that?
I do. I think year after year, the bottom of the world, because the government has really become interested.
So is everyone just in on some massive joke, or is there something in Antarctica that they're purposely hiding from the rest of us?
Guys, are they hiding anything in Antarctica?
Absolutely not.
Of course not.
You know what's funny? I saw some comments about a video similar to that, and they would say, like, yeah, why would they let anybody go there and disrupt this ecosystem down there? You're like, what are you talking about? Like, people are on every continent. Like, why would anyone care about the ecosystem there versus anywhere else? And how would normal people exploring there disturb the ecosystem?
Yeah, since when were we worried about disturbing ecosystems when it came to taking over territories? So
Or discovering things.
that was one of my first deep dives and longest topics of interest to try to understand. And so I finally came to the conclusion that I think all of the levers and buttons and contraptions and all technology is in Antarctica.
That's where Megatron fell. Actually, it was the Arctic, but maybe it was at the bait and switch, as they say that Megatron fell into the Arctic, but it was actually the Antarctic.
Yeah, I think that they those are interchangeable. I think they swap out the Arctic and Antarctic at their will to fit whatever story they want to talk about. But because the Yahtzees went down there in the 20s. They were down there in the 20s. They were exploring there in the 20s before anyone else.
You sure it was
So,
the
like,
20? I mean, because I want to say that the rise of the Austrian painter was not until like what
it was the
1929 or
30s.
1930.
It was the early 30s, but no, they were. If you look it up,
Was that like the Vril
one of you guys-
Society?
I'm not sure, but if one of you guys wants to fact check me, based on everything that I researched, they were down there. The Germans were already down there in the 20s. They started exploring there in the mid to late 20s. So they may have even started doing that before he was a part of things, because they definitely, I think, I want to say like 1924, 1925, or 1926, sometime around there, they started exploring all of that. And so they had, and like it's proven that like they had a bunch of technology that no one else understood, like in the 30s and 40s. They were using a bunch of tech.
Yeah, the Foo Fighters. We've talked about the Bell.
Yeah,
Lots of weird stuff.
They had an understanding down there, and so I personally think that there are, whatever you want to call them, whether you want to call them the Anunnaki or you want to call them the fallen angels or whatever, like whatever ones are still hanging out here in this realm that have bodies, whatever those bodies look like, I'm pretty sure that's where they dwell. That's my personal opinion. And I think that they met them there. I think that they found them. I think a deal was struck. I think technology was given and understanding was given. Access was given in exchange, more than likely, as Brian always says, for human sacrifice, for humans, for blood. But I think that everything's down there. I think the levers of control for weather manipulation, earthquakes, all kinds of stuff, portals to other countries, portals to, I wouldn't be surprised if every single land, or like every single piece of land on Earth was accessible from either tunnels or some kind of portals or something down there. I don't know. There's so much down there we don't know, we don't understand. But I think that was the beginning of our century of discovery in terms of technology, access to fallen technology, and the deal that was struck between humans and the fallen. That's my personal conclusion.
Well, when you were saying that Antarctica and the Arctic could be interchangeable, well, that's certainly true. I know that when I was flying out west a couple months ago, I was watching the new Superman movie. And in that one, the Fortress of Solitude was said to be in Antarctica, but in all the Superman comic books, it was always in the North Pole.
Yeah.
So they just decided to shift it to there. And I thought the funny part about that was the hilarious part about that was that Lex Luthor was trying to get the governments of the world to be against Superman. And one of his justifications for that was the fact that he was violating the Antarctic treaties. It was like
Right?
Superman can't be down in Antarctica, so like even he's not allowed to go down there because of what they're doing. And so, also what you were saying too about the idea that this might be where this different race of humanoids, whether it be the Anunnaki or the Watchers, might be down there, or maybe Nephilim. That kind of fits a little bit with when we showed the clip from that G.I. Joe the movie about where Cobra La was, is that there was this ancient race of humanoids that lived down under some kind of an ice dome. Because didn't even mention on there that they saw some kind of ice dome? There was some kind of an account about an ice dome down there.
Yeah, and you want to know another thing that I thought was fascinating? I actually literally never pondered this until they replayed that Admiral Byrd video. He said he was talking about land at the bottom of the earth. But Admiral Byrd's journal that somehow appeared after his death.
The diary. Mm-hmm.
His diary talked about him going into inner Earth and interacting with beings in the inner Earth.
Yeah, some kind of a master or something like that down there.
Yeah, and then there being a whole race of people like and a whole section of land and all kinds of stuff inside the earth. So when he's talking about the bottom of the earth, like maybe the land he was talking about was literally at the bottom of the earth or inside of the earth down below us. Like I never considered
Yeah, right.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
bottom
maybe
of
he
the
was
earth
telling the
is like,
truth.
yeah, it's so you could take that as it's the bottom of the globe, but we're talking about, if we're talking about biblical cosmology, the bottom of the earth is below the earth.
Inside the earth.
Yeah, it's inside the earth. Even when we said, I know we brought this up on the podcast before, but I said just the way he phrased that, there's a land mass that's unexplored that's on the other side of the South Pole. And the obvious question, if we live on a globe model, like if you can get to the middle, you can get to any part of it, right? So like if you got to the South Pole, it would be no trouble to get to it because you could just go from the other side.
It makes
So, like,
no sense on a globe model for him to say that.
It would, yeah, because it's like you have to get to the South Pole and then you have to go past it. So you have to go further than the South Pole instead of being able to circumnavigate the thing and
would
be
there
able
be-
to access any part of it from the sea.
And on a flat Earth model, it makes even less sense because now he's talking about outside of the firmament.
Well, you know what? So I've got a few more Antarctica videos, but this is just me. This is just wild speculation by me because obviously all the stuff in the news right now is space exploration.
But wait. Before you go, can I show you this one map though? Look at this. Cuz like this is an old map of the world. Look how much surface area they believed
right,
was on
it's
top.
as big as
and
all
on
the
bottom.
continents combined.
Dude, it's like this is what they actually believed. And you're like, when you look at these old maps like this, you're like,
it's all green there too in that one.
Bro, it's all. And so he said, like, beyond the ice wall, there's land. So like we now are told that there's nothing there. But like, look at how much is supposedly on these old maps. It's so interesting to think about, like the all of this land. Look at all this. Like, what are all these things? And like, I just remember like the North Pole supposedly has nothing at the North Pole and it's just water now. But I mean, like, why did we all have these, fantasy imaginations that there was something big? Oh, look at who that is. Look, it's a giant Nephilim, hairy creature, tall creature.
Yeah, no, there's a map,
That's like
Brian,
Poseidon
that
or something.
shows there's a map that at the very bottom where Antarctica is, it shows nothing but mythological creatures.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're saying that the Germans got down there in the 20s, but the truth is, supposedly, we're told that Antarctica was discovered like in the 1860s, I think. But
yeah,
but then you see all these old maps where it's showing green stuff down there. And I made a video about this a while back about how there was the French archives released all these maps, and I think it was a map from maybe the 1600s, and it was very similar to the one of maps that Brian showed, where there's tons of land down there, and what you don't actually see is you don't see Australia, but you kind of see it Antarctica kind of curves up, and so I made the connection that on the southern coast of Australia, it's like these sheer cliffs, and they almost match up to whatever the ice wall is when you get to the cliffs when you get to the coasts of Antarctica. It looks almost exactly the same. Like it looks like that this might have broken off. But here, I wanted to show this because, again, we're talking about space exploration a lot in the news right now. And, in biblical cosmology, we don't really believe in outer space. But I do actually leave room for the idea that this could be outer space. Like over here is like, here's the inhabitable Earth that we live on all through this. But back here this is where real outer space is. So what if this is actually a spaceship? So this is supposedly Mark Zuckerberg's mega yacht. Now look at this thing.
Whatever, if you can get to the quote unquote outer space, it would have to be in the water. And my guess would be down underwater through tunnels.
Yeah, maybe there are some kind of entrances on down there that there's a place that's what they don't want you to film, is where like a ship could pass through.
Yep.
This idea of like whatever this is. And so you really think about it.
There's
just take a close look at this ship. I mean, doesn't it
wild.
kind of look like, doesn't it have like Star Wars like vibes? Because if you think about
Totally.
like, what would be a spaceship in Star Wars.
Or Star Trek, it kind of looks like the Enterprise a little bit.
Well, you know what it looks a lot like? It looks like this.
Yeah, dude, true. The Star Destroyer.
Does it not look like
a
that?
Star Destroyer. Did you ever see the pictures? Maybe you can find them. Did you ever see the pictures of the WikiLeaks Antarctica photos?
I have not.
Dude, there are photos in the original WikiLeaks data dump that show Antarctica, and it's like a tropical island. There's parts that are like tropical islands. So yeah, there is the ice and stuff, but not far beyond the ice are straight up like tropical island settings, like something you would expect to see in Jurassic Park.
Well,
And
I
there
want
was
to
no
say that in
context.
Admiral Byrd's diary, and I'm not sure if he was talking about the North Pole or he was talking about Antarctica, but he was saying that, yeah, you get to a place and then you get past sort of like the frozen tundra area, and then there was a part that was sunny and it had greenery, and I want to say that he described maybe like a woolly mammoth was down there.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly correct.
But here, so I got a good transition to this because this was an interesting video, and actually I'm hopefully to collaborate with this guy soon, and because we share his videos all the time.
So we're going to click on that marine traffic app right here. And this is a really great app here. You can see all the ship traffic all across this realm. But let's go down south. And why the continent that 99% of it is off limits to you and I seem to have a little hidden shipping route. That's right, the only place you'll see ships inland with no bodies of water around them. Perhaps these are the paths to those distant lands mentioned by Admiral Byrd. And I know many of you wanted to dismiss it as just a glitch. But here's some various screen grabs I've taken over the last couple days. And when you click on the vessel information, you get very limited and weird details. Not under command. It's been out since February. Many have talked about distant lands beyond Antarctica. And one of the reasons why independent travel beyond the 60th parallel is simply off limits. Unless you have a guided tour or express written permission from your government, like you need that anywhere else. I'm sure it's just for the penguins. Nothing to do with the immense amounts of pyramids supposedly there. Or the red waterfalls they tell us are just natural formations too. You know, from the iron-rich plankton. Never mind we see it anywhere else in the world, we can actually go and check and explore ourselves. We just have to take the expert's word for it. There are far more than just penguins and ice there. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Yeah, so one of the theories is that there are gates there that open up, maybe not gates, but like passageways that open up at certain times of the year that you can actually drive.
Well, it's like
through.
the guy was saying that there's portals down there, but like really, what is a portal? I mean, a portal. It's funny, even like when you showed like the Freemason imagery, we talked about that a couple months ago, about how you have the two sacred pillars and you have an arch, and that's symbolic of a portal. Of course, in our minds, we're thinking portals, we're thinking stargates, we're thinking some kind of magical thing, but like a portal really could just be a porthole. It's a place to go, like a ship would go through, maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Portal to hell. I mean, with those red waterfalls, bro.
Well,
like,
you know, it's fun. I mean, you know what? I couldn't help but think.
Leave it to Brian to take it straight to the darkness and the portal of hell.
I honestly was thinking sort of on the lines of what Brian's saying, because when you were saying that, okay, so you have these potential fallen angels down there, or Nephilim, and they'll give men exchange for technology for what? For blood. And then you have these blood red waterfalls down there. Is that iron-rich plankton, or is that a mass sacrifice ritual?
Yeah, and there's video footage of one of them. I don't know if you can find it, but there's video footage of one where the water is gushing and flowing like a geyser out of the side of an ice wall, and I don't see how it could be anything but blood. Like it looks like blood straight up gushing out of the side of a wall.
It's straight up
It's insane.
gas.
I mean, you
It's
guys
straight up
saw it.
gaslighting, right? To say, oh, that's really not what you think it is. It's totally plankton.
Iron-rich plankton.
Yeah, it seems like it's gaslighting. I mean, obviously, they're gaslighting a lot about what's down there, like because they don't care that much about penguins to protect the penguins down there.
What if that is the outflow from everything they don't use from all of the people that they abduct from all over the world? Because when I told you that they went down there and made a deal with the fallen, that's the deal I'm talking about. The deal was was human lives in exchange for technology.
It makes sense. I mean, it could be something as simple as that there was a lost civilization down there with, the pyramids being the evidence of this. So there was something down there. And they just don't want you to know that our history is way more wacky than we're ever told. But, so that would be something certainly they could be hiding. And I remember seeing a video a long time ago, and the guy was floating the idea that if you think about it, whatever happened in like the Middle East, whatever happened in like Northern Africa where the pyramids are at, the place got totally wrecked. So, and you think about it, like if they're exposed to all the elements and the detritus, and you think about the pyramids in South America, that they're covered by all kinds of dirt and sediment and all the stuff that would cause these things to break down a little bit. But if you had a civilization that suddenly froze, like it would be actually really, really well preserved under that ice. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was a situation where like a flood came over it and it all froze, you might have really intact ancient architecture and all kinds of technology that's under the ice.
So hear me out. So what if that ancient civilization was where all of the Nephilim gathered, and that's the whole reason the earth flooded, was to kill all of them, and that was their city. That's where they all were. That's where they did all their splicing. That's where they did all of their genetic testing. That's where they did all of their experimenting. That's where they built all of their insane chimera half-breed whatevers. And that's why on those old maps in Antarctica, you see all of those crazy fantasy creatures and mythological creatures, and they're all down there. Like that would make the most sense to me, that was like the land of giants.
Would have got just like froze, like not just flooded the earth, but also froze all of their stuff. Like just like they're done.
Wouldn't that make sense?
It does seem, again, but the interesting part about it is when you do see those old maps that you were sharing, it looks like it's a more recent thing that it was frozen. Right? Because if they're showing it green in the 1600s, like why is it frozen today? Because if this is a antediluvian thing where it got froze, I mean, I guess at least part of it could be. But I know when I had my friend Seven Club on, he was kind of floating the idea that, again, that where the inhabitable portion of the earth is, again, when you like kind of look at a map like this, you have the circuit of the sun that's going around, and where the sun is not, it's obviously freezing cold. But there's been this idea that magnetic North Pole is moving, because if you think the world being like a toroidal field, the circuit of the sun is slightly changing, and it has changed over the eons. It continues to change. So you have what they've been, all the alarmists in like the climate change stuff would say, that you have the ice caps are melting. But then he was showing evidence that it's freezing in other areas. So it's like the sun starts to move into a territory that it has not been in a long time, and it's melting ice. But where it's leaving is becoming frozen, and the ice is becoming thicker. And so he was showing evidence of that. So so maybe that's a situation where in this eon we're in now, the sun is moving into parts that it has not been in a long time, and it actually is melting the ice that maybe is revealing maybe the hidden tech, some of the stuff that they don't want us to know about.
There is plenty of evidence to support magnetic north shifting over time. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. As the source of sunlight changes, so does the lack of sunlight in certain regions. And so the theory is that, and you probably remember if he showed you the model, the theory is that just like a clock, so if you're looking at it from above down, just like a clock, it moves around in a circle. And I think the theory is like every couple of thousands of years or 2,600 years or something like that.
Well, I think
the magnetic
you
north shifts.
you get a complete reset of the Mazzaroth or the zodiac in 26,100 years or something like that. So I mean that's a long time.
26,000 years.
Yeah,
it would have to be less than that.
Yeah, well, I mean the point is that that's what they say, that this is like a full well, basically the idea is that each one of our ages is about 2,100 years, I believe. So then you have 12 cycles of this, because each zodiac cycle is that. So like if we're saying today that we're in the age of Pisces, there's debates whether we're in the age of Pisces or we've entered the era of Aquarius. What it's really saying is wherever God said, let there be light, the sun was in a certain age, and it would take 26,000 years in order for it to get back to the one it started at. Each one of these constellations has a different age.
In Iran, we're actually the year 1456 or something like that.
That's wild. You told me that. So we're like, do you have the receipts to show that?
Yeah. If you just look up world time map.
That's pretty wild, because if it's the year like 1400 something in Iran, that's really, really close to Gunner's theory that 700 years were added.
Yeah, world calendar system. Look. So here. This is pretty interesting. I don't know what to think of it, but world calendar system. So apparently, a lot of places in the Middle East, they believe we're in year 1446. 1447 now, because this is 2025, so it'd be 1447 right now. And so Iran is also on the 1447 calendar year.
That's wild.
Which the rest of the world, like all these places that, they're in, like, these people think we're in 1946. These people think we're in 4,722. It's like that all of these like little countries in this area have their own dates. We're in the year 2,481. So it's fascinating.
Well, where's that
little...
actually? It actually looks like Iran might be in that area where it's saying it's is it 1403?
No, it's
because it looks like wherever that light green is, that lime color.
Yeah. So that lime green would be 1403 is what it's saying. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, no, the one above that, the yellowish lime green one, the one that says 1403, is that not what that is?
Yeah,
isn't that where Iran is? Yeah. Because it looks like Saudi Arabia is saying it's 1447.
So ironic or not ironic that everywhere that's green is trying to infiltrate the one place that says it's 1403.
Yeah. That is pretty weird. I don't know.
We got one left.
We got
one left. We're almost there, guys.
To go back to Antarctica though for a second, about the idea that there is these demonic deities down there. I thought it's interesting in the Rings of Power show. You have when Sauron's killed at the beginning of season 1, like his first, I'm not sure if that's his first body, but he's killed. And when he dies, he like explodes all this light out of his face. And then the place they're at completely freezes. It's totally frozen afterwards. Do you see that show, Aaron?
Did, and you may or may not have forgot, but do you remember where they were heading on a boat together when she met him first?
Yeah, the Undying Lands.
The lands beyond, and it looked
Valinor.
like they were in the ocean, and they were in uncharted territory going to a region that no one else had access to.
Did you ever see the Pirates of the Caribbean, The World's End?
I'm sure I did. It's been so long, though.
That one is a weird one, too, because in the previous movie, Jack Sparrow gets killed by the Kraken, I think. Right? And so Jack Sparrow's dead.
He gets taken to the upside down. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so that they take a ship, and so what Barbosa says you have to get lost to find a place that you can't find. And when they start going, they go off this like waterfall, like literally like the world ends, and then they fall down into this place. And I can't remember if it's like Elizabeth Swann or somebody like that says that they had to tip the ship upside down, right? The ship had to go upside down, and then it resurfaced under in kind of like the upside down. So then they were in this place, and that was in the Arctic. So they were like, again, they're taking a ship to the Undying Lands, or like the land of the dead.
Well, so one other aspect to all of this too, when you're talking about magnetic north shifting in Antarctica and frozen land. So one of the theories is that the map on the moon is an upside down reverse image of all of the land on Earth. And it actually makes sense. Has anyone ever shown you that? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've not been
map?
super convinced, but
So I saw a video one time. It was one that was, I'm not completely sold on it either, Brian, but one of the videos that I saw, they showed all of the land on the moon, and it's like flipped upside down and transposed the other way around. So like you got to do a little bit of gymnastics to get there. But once you do that, it is a perfect representation of all of the land that would be on a flat Earth map, for instance. Okay. So once you're there, you do see all of these other land masses. And the theory is that if you take magnetic north and go around in a circle like a clock, there are land masses that get frozen as the center of heat shifts. So certain places like unmelt while certain places melt while other places freeze. And
right.
so,
So
they're trying to say
that was we talked about that out with 7 Club when I did a live stream with him. That was part of it, was the idea that the reason why the moon map does not make sense to a lot of people is because you're seeing all these extra lands, but you have to it fits with the idea that the circuit of the sun is only showing a part of the realm. And so we're seeing only a brief part of whatever the moon map is. And the moon map is reflecting, or it was once a reflection of what the whole Earth used to look like. So you're only seeing part of it. And it's kind of like, it's like, you have to flip it upside down, and it fits actually surprisingly well.
But I mean, that would also make sense of some of the civilizations that are completely underwater right now. Because if that happened, then the odds are really good that the tides would also shift once all of that shifts, and those places that are currently underwater would no longer be underwater. And scripture also talks about mountains rising out of the ocean, right? And also being buried, and lands being buried.
Yeah, the islands and the mountains are being removed, and things changing. Again, that makes sense to me, that if Antarctica was connected to Australia at one point and now it's not, I mean, is that not proof that the islands and the mountains were moved or removed? Okay, I got one more Antarctica video, and then we can shift out of this topic.
Guys, I don't believe it. After 3 full days at sea, we are arriving at our first destination, and this looks scary. So it's an active volcano. It's called Deceptive Island, and named because it has a deceptive entrance. I'm just honestly buzzing with excitement. Hey brother, wow, it's absolutely insane. First impressions, we have arrived in Antarctica. Officially, it doesn't feel like Antarctica because it's not icy. This is really cool because there's lots of buildings here. Lots of old buildings, very rustic buildings, shelters and storage facilities. So these have just been put here. We have to walk in this channel here. There's a lot of rules in Antarctica. They don't want to mess it up.
Mess what up? Like, dude, it's like a freaking wasteland. What are you gonna mess up, bro? Like, what are we talking about? Like, come on.
That's a good question. It already looked kind of messed up to me.
Don't want to mess up their mud and sticks in their old shanties.
Bro.
Yeah, don't mess up those old buildings. They look like they're about to just totally rotten. Or these old barrels or whatever they got hanging out there. Don't mess that up. Deceptive Island.
Why would somebody move barrels and set up a thing there if it was just a frozen wasteland? Like, what's the point of doing all that? Like, what's the point of moving their stuff there? Like, that just seems so, like, who would want, like, it looks like they had silos there and, like, resources. It's like
stand right here and only look in this direction.
Yeah.
Because if you look in this other direction, you're going to see things we can't explain.
Those little flags you have to walk between. Like, where do they think they're going to go? It almost makes you think that whatever they don't want you to see is actually really not far away from the coast.
Of all of those videos, though, the one that's got me kind of tripping out is that Aiden Ross, Mr. Beast video of them talking about that. Because, like, you know, these are younger dudes, especially like Aiden Ross, and they're just kind of coming into all of this stuff, and they're just figuring out what they can and can't say, but like they're kind of being loose with it because they are trying to get views and they are trying to, you know, get people to clip their streams so that they can go viral. But like every once in a while they do, you know, it, like in that clip they say something where it's like, oh, maybe we should kind of stop, and he said something and then he stopped talking after he talked about the ice walls, and then Mr. Beast straight up like won't talk about it. So it's like, I don't know, man, that was pretty fascinating.
Definitely. Okay, where do we want to go from here? Do we want to talk about Artemis? Actually, you know what? Before we do that, I thought this was an interesting video because, once again, I was a big sports ball fan back in the day. And then one day you realize it's all rigged. All this stuff is based on whatever they do in Vegas, and who knows what we're actually watching. Are we watching the NBA or are we watching WWE? How scripted is this stuff? And this was interesting because sometimes they kind of give away the game a little bit. Sometimes the players or the coaches do kind of hint at the fact that this stuff is all rigged.
JJ, pretty impressive and efficient second quarter there on offense, especially. What did you see from your team get rolling there?
The ball stopped rattling in and out.
That helps usually in basketball.
When there's 5 of those shots in a quarter, it's a little odd.
All right, for sure. Second half.
What was that movie? I think it took place with the Washington Huskies or something. No, maybe that's a different movie. There's a basketball movie about that where they put a little electronic chip in the ball, and every time I got near the rim, they would make it rattle off.
I wish I knew, and I totally believe you. I totally believe you.
Zone was good for us in the second quarter. We slowed them down, held them to whatever 18 points in the second quarter. Zone was good for us.
Thank you, JJ. Billy, let's get on that. Okay, let's research what movie.
What was that about?
I mean, it sounded like he was saying that, that it's not really statistically possible for, when you see a ball like that jiggles around in the rim or just spins out like a toilet bowl and falls out 5 times in one quarter for one team. He's saying that there was funny business. I mean, there's been the same rumors about the NFL where you see the kicker sometimes when they're kicking it. And I can't remember what game it was, but there was one that was like the ball was going straight on and then it just made like a beeline. It just went straight away and it missed. It doesn't seem like that would be hard technology for them to do if there was some kind of a electromagnetic chip in the ball that prevented it from, going into the bucket.
Well, they could easily do that. They could easily make the basketball have like some type of magnetic fabric. In fact, they have these big magnet strips, so you can make a ball with a magnetism inside of the rubber, like easily. And so you could have a rubberized magnetic ball, and then literally just have a ring be like a magnetron that would just you turn on, and it would just and then pull it in.
Well, you kind of wonder. I remember when there was this big controversy with the Patriots back in the day, and they called it Deflategate. And what we're told is that Tom Brady liked to throw a football that was not like the PSI was much lower. Like he liked a slightly deflated football. He felt like he could throw it better. And so there's big controversy. And I think that the NFL stripped the Patriots of like a 1st-round draft pick in the next season. And I can't remember, obviously some massive fine too. But what if it wasn't a deflated ball? What if it was a ball that had some kind of a magnet in it? And it's funny too, even like, you guys are not big sports ball fans, but there was a time where you didn't see the catches like these guys make, where like there's the famous, Aaron, do you remember this? Did you watch football in recent years?
Ironically, I'm actually looking through my archive of videos because I was at the Fiesta Bowl a handful of years back, and it was Clemson and I don't remember who, and I actually have footage of an interception taking place that was so clearly intentional. So I didn't really watch a lot of Major Ball, but I'm trying to find this clip so I can show you guys, because this was quite literally the moment that I 100% was convinced that it was all rigged.
Yeah, but check this out. So this was like, I remember, this was kind of famously, Odell Beckham made this incredible catch for the Giants where, this is like a bomb, and this guy reaches back with one hand and just catches the tip of the football. And what a lot of people are saying, it's the gloves. It's the gloves are real sticky. But it's of course a guy could make a catch like this. It's possible, but you started to see a lot of these catches happening where these guys would catch a ball that's thrown like a rocket, and they can catch it with one hand, just snag it.
Didn't they have like something sticky or something they created that they banned?
Well, back in the 60s and 70s, they had something called Stickum. But you could actually see it. It was kind of like almost like in baseball where they put pine tar on the bat. You could see all the stuff. And so they used to put on the stuff that was like crazy glue on their hands to catch the ball. But now what they're saying, what a lot of people believe is these gloves are just really, really sticky. So they can do it. But what if it's more than that? What if the ball does have some kind of metal in it? And what they say in NFL games is that when a ball ever goes into the stands, like the fans have to give it back, which is different than like baseball. I mean, obviously baseball fans take baseballs home every game, but supposedly the ball in the NFL has some kind of a chip in it for whatever reason. But what if it is like, what if the gloves have some kind of magnetic thing in them, which make it a lot easier to catch the ball?
It certainly would. I actually found the video if you guys want to see it. It was the 2019 Fiesta Bowl, and it was Clemson versus Ohio State. And this is my footage that I filmed from the sideline. And it was even easier to tell when I was there, but you can see, like, dude, this guy throws it directly to the opposite team. And this was what sealed the deal. This shifted the entire outcome of the game. So it's very, this is what convinced me that it was all rigged, because I saw this and I was like, he just literally intentionally threw it to the other team. Like, it's not even debatable. He was the only one out there.
Well, it looked like the one guy might have fell down, but
dude, let's hold on. Let's go slow.
You did see there's an Ohio State receiver who's laying down on the ground.
Okay, let's see. Dude, but look how far they are from each other. Like,
yeah, Clemson slaughtered Ohio State in that game too, didn't they?
That was like look at that's a huge difference, and it went straight to him. He didn't even have to fight that hard to get to it. Like, that was like a direct pass to him. It was even more clear in person.
No, there's definitely there's a bunch of examples of that. We talked about it. Bubba Smith, when he went on there and he was saying that Super Bowl I, I believe, was rigged. The Joe Namath game, or was that Super Bowl I or Super Bowl like 2 or 3? That he was saying that it was rigged, and I think it was it Don Merrill or something? That was the quarterback of the Baltimore Colts, and the Colts were a massive favorite, and he just wasn't throwing it to his team. And they got into the red zone like 5 or 6 times in the first half, and they didn't score any touchdowns. And you found out, that eventually Bubba Smith had an untimely demise. I don't know how many years after he said that on that sports show. So certainly rigged. But you know what? Before I get to Artemis stuff, I do have this one interesting video, and I know Aaron and Brian are going to love this.
So listen to the lyrics of this song. And I'd give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. So he's telling her that he's gonna give up forever to touch her because somehow she can feel him. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. He gave up forever to touch her because somehow, she can feel him. And now she's the closest to heaven that he'll ever be, and he don't want to go home. He's saying, So was heaven home once? And then later in the song he says, and I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. Why wouldn't the world understand if they seen you? Do you guys know what this song is about? Do you know why this song was actually made? It is an angel talking to a human. It is an angel describing the fall of his self because he chose to be with the woman over God's will. Be careful what you're singing along to, unless you don't care, obviously.
Yep.
But yeah, I've heard.
He's
I've
right.
heard. There's so many songs that I hear on the radio that are straight up Nephilim like preludes. They're just like Nephilim lullabies, like singing about the angels making a fall. Like there's so many of them. That's just like I've heard that one already before and thought, dude, yep, that's exactly Nephilim stuff. I always hear it on every of the songs.
You know what's crazy is like, and actually we're going to talk about this on the Afterglow on Friday in more detail, but when anyone gets overtaken by something awful, like horrible, it's demon. I don't know what came over me. I don't know what, but anytime something comes out of somebody that turns into something beautiful, it was them. They came up with it. They wrote it. Like
yeah, exactly.
They did it on their own. Like they're that, but it's like, and that's arguably like that was only good in the sense that it made them a lot of money and it got them the limelight and it achieved their purpose. But that demon was able to accomplish being seen through that song by implanting that into their minds and getting them to write it and get it. But yeah, that's a literal love song from a fallen being that is never going to make it to heaven. That's going to be eternally bound.
Yeah, and if you
wanted the
think
world to
So
hear.
many love songs are like
well, if you
that.
think about it too, it's like if anybody thinks that guy was reaching, the song is called Iris. So Iris
Yeah,
being
there you go.
your eye. If you go look up the lyrics of that song, the word Iris is never mentioned even one time. So you think about Iris, the ones who watch, the watchers.
Yep.
And do you know what movie that song was featured on, where it came from the soundtrack?
No,
City of Angels, right?
It came from the City of Angels, where Nicolas Cage plays a angel who's in love with Meg Ryan.
Wow.
Exactly.
Are you serious? That's where it comes from?
She didn't
Dang.
believe in angels until she fell in love with one.
What? Oh my gosh.
So I would say that his theory is pretty good. I'd say that he was pretty on
so
point with that
exact.
video.
Bro, you know
Really-
they put the eye in everything. And like the iris, the iPhone, you know, Iran, Iraq, by the way, side
Hold on.
note, like
Siri.
Siri.
Backwards?
Oh yeah, backwards is Iris, and Iris is the messenger of the gods. And it's like, bro, Siri, that's the eye stuff is in everything. It's in everything. And it's literally because like Lucifer was a cherubim, and the cherubim are described
Or he's a
as covered in
seraphim.
eyes. No, he's also a cherubim. They say it as well. And
Well, we talked about
it's
that.
debatable.
If you read the Septuagint, in the Masoretic text, if you flip open a KJV Bible, it says you were an anointed cherub. But
Yeah,
in
you
the
were
Septuagint,
anointed.
it actually says you had anointed cherub. So
Interesting.
yeah, so it does make sense
It
that the
says you
devil was
had
actually
anointed cherub?
was a seraphim angel. He was a fiery serpent.
Yeah.
That had cherubim.
They had a
Yeah,
cherubim, but
like,
still,
again, the
it's
cherubim-
described as covered in eyes, and so
yeah,
that's why
the
they put
cherubim
the eye
being
thing and everything.
that you have these are guardians.
Mhm.
So it's like you imagine that if the devil is a very high-powered, a high-ranking angel, he's got his own angels. And it even says in the book of Revelation that Michael and his angels fought against the devil and his angels. So he had
they're like
cherub.
Rank wise, they're like the polar opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it all tethers to the watchers, because what do the eyes watch?
Yeah, they watch.
Right? So that's why it's all eye stuff on everything. Like whether it's cherubim, seraphim, regardless, the eyes are watching, and that's why it's called an iPhone. And
The
that's
eye
why
of,
these
eye of
days-
Horus.
it's the eye put the eye on everything. Whenever the
The
eye
eye
is
of
on
Ra,
something, that's their mark.
sun god.
Yeah, that's their mark. Yeah. So
Okay, do we
eye
want to talk
anything.
about another fallen angel, Artemis,
yeah,
the goddess of the moon?
But before we talk about the moon, check this out, guys. Look at this. Look at this. Oh,
we were
shoot.
teasing new merch last week, and this is, again, my favorite part of the moon landing hoax. Is this? You can get this commemorative T-shirt of them trying to fake the moon landing for over 50 years, when Richard Nixon used a landline to call the moon.
Look, his phone line goes into the trail that goes to the little rocket that circles around the moon. I love it. It's great. So
yeah, so if you want a T-shirt, I'll put the link in the description for Demon Racer's shop. Yeah, you can get a JT Follows JC plus Demon Erasers. Demon Erasers did the beautiful graphics on that. He's a great designer, as you see.
To commemorate 50 plus years of being lied to about the moon.
And this is great conversation starter. So, because for the normies, they'll look at you and go, "Oh, yeah, you support the moon." And you're like, "Uh-huh, yeah, right." And then they're like, "Yeah, isn't it crazy that they like talk to him on a landline?" Like, when cell phones weren't even created yet, and the distance between the radio signal distance just from the moon would actually probably take closer to like 8 to 12 seconds, but yet somehow there was no delay. Isn't that amazing? It's just like, wow, we actually went to the moon. And so you can point out the obvious without, having directly to point out the obvious. So it's like a funny little sarcastic way of balking at the
conversation
system.
starter.
Yeah, what's the situation where like that? For you'll find one of your own when you wear this shirt too, because the normies won't get it right away, but the people who get it will be like, "Oh, I see what you did there. I see that."
So I've got the perfect.
I was gonna put some other text like, ignore the Van Allen belt radio interference, and like, but I thought it was good.
You could add on there Psalm 19:1 that the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament is His handiwork.
Show his handiwork.
Oh, you know what you could put on there? This shirt is, you can get the shirt like it is. Would it be good if you had like somewhere on the back you could have Werner von Braun's tombstone with Psalm 19:1 on it?
Oh, I could add that. I could add it totally
with the Disney dome over it.
Or that could be, that could actually be its own separate T-shirt. Would be just the tombstone with Psalm 19:1 on it.
That would actually be a really good shirt. So I got the perfect video to kick this off, because just last week we were talking about how awkward it was when the astronauts, after just having arrived from doing something no man had ever done before, how humiliated they looked in talking about it, especially when they got asked the question about stars. So check this out.
You don't see stars in outer space.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to my crewmates about that today. I've definitely seen stars in outer space, and I was saying I haven't as many as I thought I would. So, Reed, we have so much illumination from the sun on the moon and the earth right now. It is hard at times to see stars. Just like when you walk out in the daytime, you see a blue sky but no stars. We look outside and we see the black space and no stars. But tonight we're going to be pointed into deep space, and we're going to turn out all the lights in the spacecraft for the first time on the mission.
Yeah,
we give
cool.
this about 20 or 30 minutes. We do this all the time on the International Space Station. Christina and I just have great fond memories of this. You'll start to see the stars, and if you give it enough time, you will see so many stars. It's hard to see the constellations because there are so many stars out there.
Wow.
And the coolest part of those stars is they do not twinkle at all. They are just perfect. They almost look just perfect pinpricks of light. So that is our homework for tonight, Jeremy. We are doing that. We'll take a picture.
They don't twinkle at all. They
almost look fake.
Yeah, he wanted to say fake, didn't he?
Did you notice though how they were all buying time to be told what to say in their little ear monitor? Every one of them. So immediately, to me, it's the giveaway is the face that she makes immediately. She's like, "Oh crap! Like, we got the question. I am not handling that." So she looks at like, right? It reminds me of like when my parents would come home and something crazy happened, and none of us wanted to tell on each other, but like we knew someone was gonna get in trouble, and so my parents, they look at me, and I'm like, looking at my brothers, like, are one of you guys gonna tell them what happened? Because I'm not taking the fall for this. That's what it looks like.
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, so NASA actually just released on X this picture right here of, it says, a sky full of stars following a successful lunar flyby. The Artemis 2 astronauts captured this breathtaking photo of our galaxy, the Milky Way, on April 7th, 2026. And I'm sorry, I don't think that looks like what the Milky Way looks like from Earth.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same.
And so what I would say is that if you know anything about photography, and I know that you guys both know this, like how the heck could they get such a still picture when
they're
in a rocket ship that's going with like 18,000 miles an hour or whatever? How fast is the Artemis rocket supposed to be going?
Yeah, that's absurd. Like the sky just stays frozen while they're flying through, I guess.
Wouldn't it be all streaks? Wouldn't it almost look like when they jumped into hyperspace in Spaceballs or Star Wars, where like the stars start to look like they're just streaks of stars.
It would be similar. It could work because the stars are so far away. Like if you were to set your camera on a car and point it at the sky and drive, you could still get the stars because they move with the car because they're so far away supposedly. But they wouldn't.
You would have to have the mileage figured out to the.
There'd be no bumping. You still couldn't bump. You couldn't bump the car. Like there would have to be perfectly smooth. It would. I don't know.
You're talking about a near impossible feat.
Yeah, I'm saying
you'd have
like
to have the mileage worked out.
For all the reasons they say you can't see the stars when they've gone to the moon before.
Right.
It's like that you have to have like a camera that has what the way that the shutter is and the way that the aperture is figured out.
Time lapse, perfectly still.
Because if you really think about
it, you just have to be very still. I mean, because if you move at all when you take those photos, like so if the spacecraft was rotating, then you'd have a problem. If the spacecraft was just going one line, it would be fine if it was going straight. But if the spacecraft was rotating at all,
you don't think if it's going thousands of miles an hour?
Well, if it was going thousands of miles an hour straight and the stars are supposedly far, 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 far away, the stars would just look a little tiny shift, like a tiny little smudge. But if the ship rotates like this at all, then the stars would just get aligned. They would just smudge.
The real question
is, does that make sense?
Like, why, when they take pictures of the things outside the window, typically they take a picture of the window too, right? Instead of like, if they can bring whatever they want up into outer space, which they have in the past, where they bring in golf clubs and stuff. Like, why wouldn't you just bring your iPhone and go right up to the window and film for a long time? It's kind of like if you're in when I've flown over the Grand Canyon, you know what I do? I don't film part of the plane when I'm doing it, unless it's the wing, because I'm taking my phone and I'm putting it right to the window and I'm recording what I'm seeing.
Yes.
Like what I'm looking at, not inside of it. Because
bro, hold
on, Brian. Here's what they do here. And I love this picture because it makes perfect sense. This is what they do. Here's your port window, except it's not a window, it's actually a toilet seat, and this is his monitor. But if he took the camera and he put it into the toilet bowl right here, you'd be able to see that there's a computer behind him.
If they captured that while moving, there is literally no excuse as to why we don't have one continuous video that started when they took off and ended when they got to space.
Exactly. They should have cameras. They should have 4 cameras on all sides of that ship that are continuously streaming, recording everything on the outside of the ship. It's so simple. And they could easily just like run those 4 cameras and they could just be a constant feed. And they could be downloaded to a hard drive. It would cost no weight, little to nothing. You could put 2 terabyte hard drives on there and you would probably film everything. Probably 4 terabytes if you wanted to be, for each camera. And that's like what? And that weighs nothing. That weighs nothing. That would be so easy to have a camera. I could do it to the ship. Hey, NASA, since you guys are all retard, okay, I will come over and wire up cameras to your stupid little spaceship that we can have 4K streaming video. I can do that for you, just so you know. And it will record it, and then we can take all those cameras and we can actually look at the footage. Nobody cares about what they're eating. Nobody gives a crap about them. This is what we eat, by the way. And they happen to have Nutella boxes.
Yeah, well, I was going to say.
Right alongside their bags of food.
I care about what they're eating, Brian. I care about what they're eating when I see this.
So supposedly they eat out of bags, but they just decided to bring the Nutella tub as well. Yeah, the Nutella tub right along with all their bags of food, which is just like, it's so ridiculous because it's like they're showing I don't care about what you eat, bruh. Like, show us the outside. Put the camera on the outside of the ship and just have the camera filming the whole time. That's what we all want to see. We want to see the ship coming up to the moon. We want to see it like getting close to the moon, and we want to see it like becoming bigger into the view, and we want to see that in a time lapse. We want to see that fast. We want to see somebody with their phone go like this with their phone and then look around and then just like go, oh, here's out the window, and then just show us what's on your freaking phone. Like,
we
show
want to
us
see
like
everything.
how much
We want to see everything. We want to see everything. I mean, we're
How much did Nutella pay for that, do you guys think? Honestly. Because they paid for that. It's like it's not even debatable.
You know what the other problem with this video is? Okay, so how many astronauts are there supposedly up there? 4?
4.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is the Nutella coming from?
It just floats around.
It just floating around in the ship.
Perfect timing.
Like, isn't that dangerous? I mean, they don't have the stuff strapped down. And so what they've showed too is they were showing again when they were talking about what they eat. They were eating out of these little. They were eating paste out of these pouches. So like, wouldn't it have been really easy to put Nutella
in a pouch?
In a pouch.
Yeah.
And if you are worried about weight at all, which you would think that if this is science, they're accounting every gram of weight going into this thing. What was the other thing too? Is the reason why their toilet broke? Is it because they were eating too much Nutella?
I don't know, but
a $23 million toilet. I mean, this is what NASA's saying is that their toilet broke, and they're giving these people diapers to wear.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, if you look
that's
that
what's
up.
happening.
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
what
that's happening.
That's what they said. So
dude,
you
this is a trauma ritual. This is a total trauma ritual.
How disgusting this would be. Somebody compared it to like the amount of cabin space they have would be like if you put 4 people in like a Sprinter van, like the back of a Sprinter van
with diapers.
These people are peeing and pooping themselves.
Oh my gosh,
that doesn't sound very fun.
No, this is a trauma ritual. They need to traumatize these individuals because they're under hypnosis, trying to brainwash them. So they're
also not actually in space. So I don't know where the trauma's happening.
Well, that's the thing. They have to. They don't. These people don't realize they're not in space. Is what I'm getting.
I don't know.
I don't think these people. I think they have no clue. I think that they're being traumatized for sure.
So here's the thing.
So I talked to a physicist recently, and I'm going to bring him on my show. Actually, he's pretty cool. And so he's telling me about like the technology that we have, and he works with like. He was telling me stuff they're doing at CERN and all kinds of crazy stuff. And so he was telling me that like basically like it's possible that we already have a zero gravity device. He's like, there's no way we would go to the moon. He doesn't think we went to the moon either. But he's like telling me that there's definitely a possibility that we have a zero gravity device that has been created or given to us by fallen angel technology, by Hitler, by whatever technology gave it to us. So it's possible at this point that we were floating frogs in the 70s, guys. I don't know if you know that. We were 0G floating frogs in the 70s, like or even in the 90s. There's video footage of it. And so there's video footage of us putting bugs and frogs in a little chamber and turning it on. And then with electromagnetism, they're floating in zero gravity. The physicist dude was telling me, he's like, yeah, it's very possible and very likely that we already have a chamber that simulates zero gravity. And so like these people could just be under sleep and then put into the gravity chamber and then turned on the zero gravity and they're floating around doing their things and then turn it off and then wake up and then they have no clue what's going on with them. Does that make sense? I mean, like,
yeah, but we talked about that. I think that there's definitely a hypnosis component to it. I think that a lot of it probably to be a right candidate to be an astronaut, it probably is about the ability to mind control these people.
Yeah,
because using certain, obviously, if these people were in the military at some point, but it was really interesting when we had that last bit on the last episode of Mixtape. We were talking about that, Apple TV made that movie Fly Me to the Moon, and this was all about the idea that they were going to fake film a moon landing as a backup plan if they actually didn't go, like if it didn't work. And so it was my theory to say that. What if they just stashed these people somewhere else and they were gone or they were like being quarantined for 2 weeks or something. And then when they got out of quarantine, they got the news that, hey, you guys landed on the moon. And they're like, no, we didn't. No, you didn't. But so what people left in the comments, there was this movie from the 70s called, I think it was called Capricorn 1. Have you ever heard of that? Oh, maybe maybe we're onto something.
Did you ever see the movie Capricorn 1? Capricorn 1 is about NASA faking a Mars landing. This is a spaceship that just before it's launching, NASA rushes in and pulls the guys out. Like, come on, get out of there. Like, what's going on? And they pull out, they go down, they put them on a plane, they fly them. And as they're flying to the Nevada desert, they're listening to the launch go off on the speaker on the plane. So they get there, NASA explains why we just did this. Because we went with the cheapest bidder, and it turns out that after 3 months, your life support system was going to fail. We already have the vice president of the United States is desperate to shut down the program, and we're about to explain that we just blew $60 million on this system, and we were going to have to scrap the launch and start over, pushing it back another 3 years. He's like, there's 2,000 people that work for NASA. There's only a handful that even know what's happening. So they convince these guys, you have to go along with this. They fake a landing, like they have a whole thing in a big warehouse set up and everything. These guys are waiting because they're going to take a helicopter out and drop them off at the site where they plunge down. And as it re-enters, the spaceship burns up, and they see it burn up. And of course, these guys are sitting in a room watching and listening, and they're all looking at each other like, what does that mean? And they realize they got to get rid of us. It's a great movie.
Wow. Is that O.J. Simpson?
Yeah, that was OJ.
So that literally tells the whole story.
That was exactly what we were saying. Like that, they were saying that. Well, in this movie, they do know that they're not going before they go. But I mean, that is a twist on the plot, though, is to say that, oh shoot, the space shuttle just blew up, and now they're looking around like, what's going to be weird if we're alive? It's kind of like the whole Challenger thing.
Dude, you guys saw the videos of the zip lines coming away from the rocket before it took off, right?
Dude,
there was
play that video.
4 separate zip lines.
Well, you know, the funny part about it is, if you really think about it, like the rocket technology, before they supposedly ever sent people up into space, they were sending like dogs and chimpanzees and stuff like that up there. So you don't need anyone to pilot the thing. So you don't need anyone on a rocket to send it up. I mean, it's like, again, it's like a ballistic missile. Like you could send it, a drone, you could do anything you want. You could remote control some of this stuff. So do you even need a crew on this thing? Well, supposedly you don't, because they can send rockets or whatever to Mars and land some kind of a little robot on there that draws phallic symbols and completely anatomically correct. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, it makes sense that they could obviously just that's the thing. It's like a lot of the normies are saying, oh, we're not going to the moon. Well, I saw the rocket. It's like, that does not mean they went to the moon. Like, that they can still shoot rockets up in the sky. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
What, dude? What Aaron was mentioning was literally the little forge, like trolley shed pod things, like leaving the moment the launch goes off. They eject these 4 little pod shed. Maybe you can add it.
Yeah, they were like, the little
post.
gondolas are moving down.
Like,
there's like 4 of them
zip lining down, and you can tell that there's people in them. You can tell that there's little persons in them. And like, you're like, but it looks like there's 2 persons in each pod, which I think are 4 hypnotists and they're 4 subjects, is my theory. And they're like going down, like right at the launch. Why does it have to happen right at the launch? That's kind of dangerous. Why don't you do it before the launch? That's what I was thinking.
I would think that'd be incredibly dangerous. You got the amount of fire coming at the bottom of this thing, like, and
bro,
and famously these things blew up like right on the launch site, like right away sometimes.
Yeah, so why wouldn't they like just clear the people out before they did it? Why are they doing it at the moment of the launch? That's
Yeah, exactly. If you had any people you needed to shuttle off there, you would have done this before you fired up the engine, right?
Bro, yeah. What if there's like a glitch when the thing gets hit, and then those people get up there and
what if it just tilted slightly?
Yeah,
and they would have got completely flamed.
Dude, that is such not like clearly that is an escape route of some kind of thing. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. There's a little pause.
You guys ready for it?
Astronauts in it. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
And then they launch them. Bro, they could get toasted. Like, look, they could just turn and toast. Turn and toast. Right now. Boom. What was that about? Somebody had a better clip where they zoomed in on them and they saw them from a different angle, and you could see there's little people in there.
That seems really, again, that seems like an unnecessary risk. Like, why wouldn't you just send those things down first?
Bro, it's so clearly that's the astronauts in their individual sleep pods.
And I feel like they made it obvious because of disclosure. I feel like they're trying to show us the truth at this point.
Dude, 4 little pods perfectly with 2 dudes in each one just zip-lined off right as it explodes.
Like, I truly,
that's so dangerous and ridiculous.
I truly believe so. Like, I've come to the conclusion that, like, I think this is where we're at. I think we're at a point where they know the people that are awake and paying attention. They know we know. And so they're doing things that to straight up troll us. And they know that the people that don't want to believe it are not ever going to believe it. And so I think they're pushing the limit in terms of like proof and actual things to show us that like they know we know. And so they're doing things like that.
Well, it's creating more audacity. It's creating a bigger gap between, because it's like then because it's like the more audacious they become, the more it creates the people that believe them. They have to believe even more ridiculously.
Right, because we're like, you guys, how do you not see that?
Yeah, and the people that don't believe that are becoming even more just like, what the heck is wrong with you guys? It's like
because they're never going to believe it.
Yeah, the gap is becoming so much bigger by them doing these kind of stunts that it's like on April Fools, like everyone that didn't believe is just like, are you a fool? How ridiculous. So it's making the gap between, it's like before we were kind of like, hey, listen, let me level with you. But now it's like, dude, you're a freaking fool. You're so blind that they launched it. And like the people that are like for them are like, no, that just happens to be, it's just a day. And it's like, no, like they're like, this is so ridiculous.
They're trolling us at this point. They are straight up trolling us. It's
you know,
not
one
even
thing
a
me
question.
and Aaron were talking about the other day, when they supposedly had a view from a plane of Artemis going up, and it looks like it's going straight up, but it's not doing the arc that we often see. But if you really think about it, we were talking about this the other day about how that within minutes the thing is going 2,000 miles an hour. So you think about like a 9mm handgun. I'm pretty sure the bullets go about 1,000 miles an hour. So this thing is going twice as fast as a bullet within a couple minutes, and within, I want to say, 4 to 5 minutes, it's going 4,000 to 6,000 miles an hour. You know, by contrast, like the SR-71 Blackbird, I want to say that thing went. Did that go 2,000 miles an hour? Or maybe it was like 1,500 miles an hour. Not near as fast as whatever this is going. So if you think about it, like when, I know Brian's done some stuff talking about the Iron Dome being fake, and it can't shoot down ballistic missiles because ballistic missiles go super fast. Like you can't even see them. They're going so fast. They should look like that.
Well,
like when these things are going across the sky, I mean, you're talking about something that's going 6,000 miles an hour.
It shouldn't be going across the sky. It should just be going up. I mean, like, you can see the moon in the sky. JT, we were looking at the moon just the other day. Like, bro, the moon is visible in the sky. You should be able to see that rocket going up and headed towards that moon. It shouldn't be arcing and going off screen and off the view of our perspective. It should just be going up. It should just continuously be going up. We should be able to watch it go up in the distance and dissipate. Who the freak told you that it's going to go up and then it arcs over and disappears? Like, that's not, like, you could still see the moon. So, like, we could see the moon. We should be able to see the people that were there when it launched should be able to see the moon in the sky and should still be able to see the Artemis headed in that direction towards the moon.
Here, watch this. I've got one that actually shows both of them at the same time.
15 years of flying, folks, praying that I get to see something like this. You don't see this every day. They're going around the moon. I flew down to Florida, I don't know how many times, half a dozen times, to see that space shuttle take off in my day, and always canceled it. And here, front row seats. This is something you want to tell your grandkids, you guys that are 3 years old.
You can hear the sound now hitting right behind me. But yeah, once they get up there over the ocean, you can see it arced over. They disappear. So.
The point is that when you see from a plane, it looks like supposedly it's going straight up, but
that's
when you see
either
it from
AI.
the beach, and so So, I mean, obviously,
No,
the
the
person who
plane's AI,
stitched those
dude.
videos together was saying, yeah, that the straight one is not accurate
No.
because
Not at all. It's
going-
either coming towards us or it's AI and it's fake and it's planned. There's no way it's doing that. There's no way that's consistent whatsoever.
Well, you know what?
Look, I'm going to show.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to show
I
this
was going
video.
to stay on the arc.
Oh yeah, stay on the arc. And
yeah,
then,
I want to say this because what a lot of people have concluded in biblical cosmology and maybe the flat Earth community is that the reason they shoot these rockets off in Florida is because
the ocean's near it.
Is because the Bermuda Triangle's near there.
I asked the question to Google, and I said, is the Artemis 2 rocket that supposedly went to the moon today on April 1st, 2026, is it going into the direction of the Bermuda Triangle? The answer said yes. The Artemis 2 rocket launching from Kennedy Space Center on April 1st, 2026 follows an easterly trajectory that takes it over the Atlantic Ocean, a path often associated with the general region known as the Bermuda Triangle. For people that know why I'm making this video, the rockets, okay? I'm not gonna say too much, but Bermuda Triangle, rockets, Bermuda Triangle, rockets. The trajectory of the rockets going sideways instead of up, going sideways instead of up, always going on a curve and coming back down. Bermuda Triangle, rockets, Bermuda Triangle, rockets. Okay, God bless you.
No wonder they don't want us at the Bermuda Triangle, bro. Because like, what if we just went there and it's just like all this rockets that they've launched are just like chilling at the bottom of the ocean?
It's like a graveyard for all the NASA
yeah,
tech.
yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny again that the association between Disney and like the early NASA stuff with Werner von Braun being good buddies with Walt Disney. So we mentioned this the other day when we were talking about, I guess, demons and parasites. And I mentioned a movie called The Sword and the Stone. And there's this one really revealing scene in The Sword and the Stone. This is great.
You want me to be? I'm nobody. You don't know a thing about what's going on today. I'm lucky to be Kay Squire. Oh, of all the idiotic guys, blow me to Bermuda! Where did he go? To Bermuda, I suppose. Where's that? Oh, an island way off somewhere that hasn't been discovered yet. Will he ever come back? Who knows? Who knows anything?
Blow me to Bermuda. What?
When did that come out?
What even is that mean? What is that line? Yeah.
Well, I mean, he
Walt
turns
Disney was
into, I mean,
working
he looks like a rocket and he goes
Well, Disney
to
was
Bermuda.
working with them. Disney was working with them at that
Well,
time.
that's what I said.
So, like,
Werner von Braun and Walt Disney were buddies. I mean, obviously, there's lots of pictures with them together. And you think about, obviously, where Disney World is compared to, wherever they shoot the rockets off there. I mean, it's really close.
dude, I got to
Are you looking up when that came out?
Well,
Aaron?
you mentioned Werner von Braun.
What was that movie called?
The Sword and the Stone. It's probably the 60s.
Guys, we got to talk about how gay space is because his name is Werner von Braun. It's Wiener. It's Wiener von
Right.
Braun. And I'm not joking. And von Braun means of brown. Like, I'm not even joking. It means Wiener of brown. That's his name. I'm like, look it up if you don't believe me. Straight up, dude.
Wiener von Braun. Wiener
of Brown. His name is Wiener of Brown. Like, that's pretty gay sounding to me. I don't know. Just saying. Just saying.
The Sword and the Stone. Okay,
Sword
Sword
in
and
the
the Stone was a
Sword and the
1963
Stone.
film. So 1963 would have been right in the middle of the Apollo moon missions. Started in 1961. Out of all the places, so the Sword and the Stone, if you guys don't know, it's a story basically about like King Arthur. Like the little kid, I think, becomes King Arthur. I think that's how it goes because he's dealing with Merlin. He pulls the sword out of the stone. And he becomes the King of England. So,
and their Disney's
what does that have to do with Bermuda and rockets?
Dude, Disney's literally working with NASA at that time.
Absolutely,
then, right?
Absolutely.
And so they are literally, and he says the line, "Blow me to Bermuda." What a weird, perverted phrase. First of all, and then like literally he becomes a rocket that goes to Bermuda. How, dude? That's absurd.
So
it's absurd.
I was looking up. That movie came out in 1963. I was looking up to see when they started using the logo with the castle that had the arch, the thing going over it. And it was 1985. They didn't start using that arch over the top of the castle until 1985. So why in the world would they have started incorporating that?
Is that right?
Unless
around
it was an ode.
Wasn't 1985? When did the Challenger blow up? Was that? It had to be within the. It was either 1985 or it was like 1984, somewhere in that range.
Let's see, NASA events in 1985.
Guys, I think this is the best.
In 1985.
I think we're cracking down and exposing NASA's really, really well right now. All of it right now. This is pretty good.
In 1985, significant NASA events included the first flight of the space shuttle Atlantis on October 3rd.
Atlantis, of course, Atlantis being, associated with, potentially the Bermuda Triangle.
And the launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger for the STS-61
Okay, see, the Challenger was
mission.
1985.
The human sacrifice, supposedly, there.
Additionally, there were multiple spacewalks and scientific experiments conducted during various missions throughout the year. So two pretty big events taking place in 1985 that they were obviously a part of, and that's why they decided to declare their involvement by using that logo.
Dude, that is.
And did you notice too? And notice too, if you play the animation for that, it shoots over the castle every time. It's not just there. It starts out and it shoots over with a trail of like pixie dust.
Yep. Smoke
do
dust,
that what
magic.
you will.
Okay, I want to play this video,
Now,
guys. Wait, are you gonna go? Keep going?
Well, I was just gonna ask, like, if let's just say the astronauts are under hypnosis, they are in an anti-gravity chamber. I'm listen, none of us know for sure, so I'm open to any ideas that they very well could be. That very well could be the situation. My only question then becomes, what do they know about the green screen?
Did you see that? And I'm wondering,
what's up with the lettering behind this ball?
How are they doing with you so far from home?
Like, what? Wait for it.
I overheard from some of the conferences, and then what I enjoyed watching
with my
family. I think there's a lot going on. It's been interesting to hear what they have.
Part of me is like, did somebody on our team that's like evil do that? Because that is so obvious. Like, that is so ridiculously obvious. Like, because why would that be green screened in right there? That just doesn't make sense. That would be green screened in at that spot. Like, why would that be? That effect doesn't make sense for what it would be, because that would imply that the whole footage is green screened.
From an editing perspective, so there would have been something. There would have been something bigger in the picture that they were green screening, and they forgot that item had green on it, and it was going to get removed. So whatever they were projecting on there, the words down there were never intended to be on there. Whatever images they were projecting on there were intended to be there. They just didn't realize they had more green on that item. And so it got cut out when they chroma keyed it. So when they chroma keyed the whole screen, they weren't anticipating there being green on that little thing. And I would say this could have been like something they did after the fact, but she very clearly was playing this from like a TV broadcast.
Yeah, she was filming. Yeah, she was using
phone.
her phone to record the screen she was watching.
The guy moves it. Yeah, he does move it. So
like someone said, "Hey, move that thing." Like that's
maybe, yeah.
Wait, I got another one. Then maybe we can move on if we want to. But yeah, this is. I'm of the belief that no, they're not in any kind of anti-gravity thing, because there's so many more evidence that these guys are on wires, that they use massive amounts of hairspray for the women.
But no, I got an answer for that.
Wait, no, but let me watch this. Let's watch this first. But what they also do is the way that they move the things. It's like the Nutella. I don't think the Nutella was there. I think the Nutella was CGI'd, it was AI'd into the video. The way that it floats by and exposes the label perfectly. It's the way they interact with things, with like the way they touch it with like just their fingertips. It doesn't feel like they're grabbing real things. They're grabbing things that are not there.
This is Jeremy's dinner, and in space, you really just eat all of your food out of bags of some kind, plastic bags or little metallic bags, because we have to rehydrate a lot of our food. This is actually shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, so watch the tail the bag leaves on Jeremy's face. So that's this guy right here. This bag is just floating in the air, and if you don't know with this footage that they send out, all these things that are floating is actually CGI, is completely computer animated, and that's why there's so many inconsistencies with it. And if you look at the edges of it,
and
you'll
this
see
has been rehydrated already.
It makes
so we added
it
water
distorts.
to it, and the shrimp soaked back up the water, and it's actually pretty tasty.
They are not eating anything. So you see, look right here. It'll kind of distort because it's computer animation, and it can't animate that closely with two different objects moving side by side on different layers.
This is an example
can't
of
put
a
that
food
much
that
detail
has
in there.
not been rehydrated yet. It got all dried out for...
So they put this red dot on there because that is if you know anything about video editing, you want to put a bright red area on something for motion tracking to keep track of where your
flying
animation's
up here in
going.
space, and those are green beans.
And it
So-
disappears sometimes too. Yeah, so if you know anything about animation, you'll know that this is why they have these dots on things, because you need it to track with the program so that you know where it is in the 3D space that's built inside of it.
We
So,
do
yeah,
have
this
to eat
is-
our
this is
vegetables even
concrete
in
proof
space,
that-
but don't worry, they do give us mac and cheese.
None of this even happened.
Yeah, what do you think? I think the one suspicious part about that too is that when it got that close to his face, he didn't react to it right away. Like it took him a minute to react to it. It's like, if you think about it, that thing, the way it's shaped, the edges look really sharp. I mean, it's not like, I mean, obviously you can get a paper cut just by paper. So this is like this super thin, sharp plastic, and this thing is floating right next to this dude's eye, and he doesn't move until it actually is touching his head. But it doesn't bounce off his head. It just, he finally just kind of shifts his head away.
Yeah, even if there's no harm, like, even if you're not worried about getting hurt by something, our human nature is to not just stay still while you get hit by something.
You could just, he could have just batted it away and let it float off. You know what I mean? He could have just, boop, touched
Right,
it with
but
his
like-
thing.
Yeah.
Right, but like my point is, like, even if I threw a soft little foam ball at one of your guys' heads, you're not going to just go and take it. You're going to be like, or you're going to try to catch it or something. Like, we're going to react to it. He didn't react to it at all. Yeah.
Especially, like I said, especially if it's coming to your eye, like if it's anywhere near somebody,
Exactly.
anything comes near my eye, I'm like,
Your iris.
yeah, your iris. That's right. You got a video, Brian?
Okay, I got one. Okay, this one I don't have downloaded, so we're just gonna have to play it off of the YouTube. But I want to share this with you because do you guys remember do you remember when the woman originally in space, like that first woman that was in space, had her hair, and it was just like totally like looked like it was just hairsprayed to like no end.
They almost always do.
But yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, what is that even in space? Okay, I just gotta, maybe I have to like bring it up because it looks so fake and it just like stays. Okay, here, we'll do this. Okay, ready? I'm gonna share this video first too. So this is my theory, and I'm gonna explain it, and it makes, I think, a little bit more sense when you understand it. So check this out. So like you see their hair, and then like every time it's like spray painted, and it's like hairsprayed so intensely, like it just doesn't move naturally. For those that haven't seen it, when
Yeah, it
they're in
doesn't.
space,
What a lot of people say, it would have moved. It would actually more likely move like it's underwater than it would move.
yeah, like hair moves underwater,
Like straight up.
exactly. Okay, now here's the reason why it doesn't do that. Okay, let me just share this video, and this is why the hair moves unnaturally. So This is a superconductor. Here's a frog. And they're putting this little frog in this anti-gravity chamber. And they're floating the frog in anti-gravity. Look, there's a grasshopper.
Is that anti-gravity or is that like a wind tunnel?
It's a giant magnet. But listen what he says. Listen what he says here. All right. And so, like, he literally says there's no problem. We can... Bro, this is way back in the day. Frog's still alive. Everything's fine. And so this was done already. Now, here's the thing. Like, if they're doing this off of electromagnetism, okay? Like, let's say, because it's supposedly an electromagnet system that they built that was doing this way back in the day, okay? So if they're doing this off of electromagnetism, what doesn't respond properly to electromagnetism? Your hair. Your hair creates a static field by its own field. Like, you know how like when you put a balloon on someone's hair and it does that staticky? Your hair creates a static field. So if they were floating people based off of electromagnetism, hair by default would not respond to the electromagnetic field because of its own static interference that it creates. So they have to do hairspray. That's why some things float and other things don't. Because like if they're doing it with electromagnetism, you're gonna have a different reaction to different. The hair follicles are just too thin, and they can't build the proper gravitational grab to this with that effect. So it totally, to me, seems like they've got the biggest secret that we have is that the Nephilim gave us the ability of electromagnetism floating things, and the Nephilim gave us this understanding. We created a chamber. And that's it. We just have people put in this little tube chamber, and they can only make it so big. And so we're able to do it and create a little anti-gravity thing. Some of the stuff could be green screened in. Some of it could be, you know, a combination of it. But that's why the hair always has to be like hair sprayed up. It has to be done because it just won't respond properly. Because how else or why else would it not be that way? So that's my theory. I think we have an electromagnetic field. And I mean, talking to my physicist friend, he said, yeah, he agrees. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
I think it could be a combination of actually real kind of quote unquote movie magic they're doing, that there is actually practical effects they're using. But I don't know. Just when you see those packs floating around in that ball, it doesn't really look like it's there the way they interact with it. It's like when he was holding a pack in his hand, and they are pulling things out of the bag, but like there's a point where I think it goes from like a real tangible object, but when it starts to float around, it just doesn't look real. Like the Nutella stuff doesn't look real. And even the idea that these female astronauts, like they're not putting their hair back in like some kind of a ponytail. Like, why would you want your hair standing straight up like that? It's theater.
And why is it going straight up? Why wouldn't it just go
the point
out
is,
all
like,
directions?
If you knew you were going to be in this environment, wouldn't it be a situation where like, you know, like wear a hat, like put something on your head that prevents your hair from getting all in your face.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want, but it's like it's for effect. It's like they want you to think that everything's floating straight up. But the thing is, not everything is floating straight up in quote unquote their spaceship. It's floating sideways. It's going different directions. So all these other things are bouncing around, going sideways, but the hair only goes up, and it's not going.
You can think,
right?
You know what's interesting is like a woman's hair in 0G behaves when you're on when you're on those planes where they drop
it's like
you.
They're underwater.
Yeah, when a woman is on one of those planes and they drop the plane, her hair behaves like it is in water. Why doesn't it do this in in space for some reason? Makes no sense.
I think a lot of it has to do with like green screen technology, is that they can't really fake certain things like that, so they have to do a practical effect to make it work.
So are you ready to admit, Brian, that space is fake?
I already know space is fake, bro. Okay,
so Brian. Okay, so Brian is
I've always said this,
Brian.
Bro.
We've been moving Brian over 75 episodes.
Just because I haven't said flat that I haven't fully bought into the flat Earth thing doesn't mean I don't think space is fake. I totally think space is fake. I've always said space is fake.
Speaking of that, actually, I do have another video. Check this out.
I'm not saying that the Artemis 2 mission is being faked, but what I am saying,
and emphatically is I'm underwhelmed right now. I was really excited for some cool stuff. And I've seen about 10 still photographs, just static images that look slightly better than the ones taken in 1969. Apparently from the exact same spot. They have a spot they like. They like to take a picture with the Earth about that big. And then they don't take any other pictures. And what an opportunity to really stick it to the flat earthers, except for every still image makes the Earth kind of look like a flat disc. So I don't know why you're doing that. I don't need an interview with the crew telling me how they eat soup out of a pouch. Take the camera to the window and shut up and just let me see it. I don't know. Why isn't there something mounted on the outside that just constantly gives me video of the Earth? Show me something with movement. Show me weather patterns moving on the Earth. Show me rotation of the Earth, zoomed out so you can see the entire sphere rotate. You really want to blow my mind? Show me some upside down flying planes. That's what Daddy wants to see. A skyline of a major city upside down with planes flying like that. That's all I want. And I'm getting none of that. And I suspect I will get none of that either. And we don't know what's real or what's fake. So I don't know why anyone's excited about anything they're seeing. This is so disappointing.
As I'm saying, NASA, hire me. I'll put the cameras on your stupid little boat, and we can get some live feed the whole time. I give what he wants. I want what he wants.
Brian you're gonna MK Ultra you. No, I think that I think he spoke to basically the whole thing we're saying is that if this was real, the things he's saying are just common sense, just like that you would expect. Like, yeah, we don't really care about what you eat. We care more about like what you're seeing. And we don't want static pictures. We want video. We want constant video. We want all the things you're actually seeing. But again, that would be way harder to fake than making a few AI images using Leonardo AI or something like that. But the one
if
encouraging
NASA
part
hires
was,
you, Brian, if NASA hires you, it's not going to be to put cameras on their spaceships. It's going to be to come back here and Joe Rogan us.
they're gonna put you on the mission to probe Uranus.
They're gonna try to Werner von Braun me. Wiener von Braun.
Wiener von Braun.
Yeah, check this out.
Yeah.
So my friend on social media, Justin Robert, I did like his take on X over here. It says, "This fake moon mission is truly a blessing in disguise. I understand how much positive would come from them actually trying to fake it again. This could potentially end NASA's credibility for good, and I can think of a better way than things to do with $25 billion annual budget." So I think a lot of people, I know some of my friends locally that when I was first talking about the topic of space being fake and gay, they just could they could not wrap their minds around it. And then my buddy texted me saying, "Yeah, why aren't they taking a bunch of pictures? Like, why would it just be one? Like, wouldn't you just be snapping away? Like, wouldn't you be showing everything?"
Yeah.
And that is, I'm sure a lot of normies are thinking that, because I really do think that what a lot of the Globers really want, they want to stick it to people like us. They want to rub it in our faces. See, you said this stuff is fake, but NASA is not giving them the goods. It's not giving them anything to shut us up. If anything, they're just giving us more ammo. And that's got to be disconcerting to their NPC brains.
Like, if we send a rocket up, if the three of us decide, we talked about crowdfunding, being able to send a rocket up or send a weather balloon up. If we actually end up doing that, we're going to have that thing riddled with GoPros.
Yeah.
And cameras.
For sure.
Like, we're going to have every angle covered. And you better believe there's going to be at least one, if not 10 different video clips of non-stop footage from the moment it takes off to the moment it pops or hits the firmament or whatever ends up happening.
Well, because what you're describing is science, right? Because like, what else is this if this is not some kind of scientific observation? And it's not scientific observation of like 4 people. It's like, it's supposed to be for all of us. So the funny part about this thing is, we mentioned last week that they're not even attempting to put people on the moon, supposedly. They were just going to fly by it. And this kind of blew me away when I first heard this, that the Artemis was only going to get within 4,000 miles of the moon. That was the closest it was going to get. So what is the point of this unless they're documenting all the things from the voyage to get there to see? Because, I mean, 4,000 miles, I mean, it's still pretty far away. Like, what they've shown is of images of the moon. They look highly fake. Like, what can they see that we have not seen with a high-powered telescope?
And also, why did NASA put out videos talking about having to solve the problem of the Van Allen radiation belt, but they never put out a video talking about how they solved the problem of the Van Allen radiation belt? Because according to the speed that thing's traveling and the rate that it's going, it would spend 50 minutes traveling through the Van Allen radiation belt. It's not like a quick journey. They would have to spend 50 minutes going through it on the way there and 50 minutes coming through it on the way back as well. It would have to survive both, according to their own specs.
Okay, you know what? So I actually do have one more video, and this will go back to the debate about, like, how are they faking these objects? So check this out,
Bro,
Brian.
I got to show mine too.
Okay, but check this out. Have you seen this one?
This is video from the Artemis space shuttle, spaceship. Now, look at this ball and look at the shadow on her thighs. Ready? Dude, space light is so weird.
I don't know if everyone caught that, but the point is, her hands are making a shadow, but the object is not. So you see the shadow of her hand, but this is not leaving a shadow on her pants.
Yeah.
So, again, that actually makes me conclude that that's not a real object. That object's not there.
And why do we only ever see them in the corner, like scrunched up together in one little space, like that, as if that's the only place in the whole ship they could possibly film?
Well, you know what it seems like? It seems like, you know, they talk about in movies, the fourth wall. But the fourth wall is when they talk about people breaking the fourth wall. It's when, because they're in a studio, right? And you have 1, 2, 3 walls. You have them in a certain area. And the fourth wall is where the camera's at. So they can't show the fourth wall because the fourth wall would be this guy with, you know, the little clapper thing saying cut, and he's saying action. Action, we're going to catch the paste tube, catch the ball.
Wearing gym shorts and Tivas, filming them.
Here's the Nutella. I'm throwing the Nutella into the shot. I mean, because again, that's the funny part about the Nutella thing is like that you don't have, where did it come from? Do they not have everything strapped down when they're going thousands of miles an hour when they're working?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about going back to the Nutella thing, okay, so if everything else is in tubes, how do they get the Nutella out? Do they use a knife?
Yeah, I know.
Is there
ridiculous.
a space knife or something like that?
They
floats around
have
too?
to have a space. They dip their space what is
Their
it?
space
Cocktail
fingers?
sauce. They
That
dip their
sounds
space
so-
cocktail sauce into their Nutella. Don't
Why
you,
would you
JT?
dip their space
fingers in it?
Out of all the things
Everybody
you would
does
pack
that,
to
JT.
eat, are you telling me that they blended up shrimp with cocktail sauce together?
Yeah. Shrimp and cocktail Nutella. It's the best, bro.
Listen, guys, they just take turns licking straight from the bottle. Like, haven't you guys ever done that with your friends?
You're right. I do that all the time. I forgot about that. That's a really great pastime.
You know
Just
that
licking it
they
out of the
regretted
Nutella
bringing
tub.
the cocktail
So gross.
shrimp after the toilet
my
stopped
gosh.
working.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Out of the toilet, for sure.
You got
Oh my
space
gosh.
diarrhea.
Oh, gross. So gross. Look. I'm going to show you guys. 0G. This is a girl in 0G. I don't have this video downloaded. I just want to show you her hair. Look at. So, like, see how this girl's hair, you can see that it's moving, like, a lot more naturally, right? And this is falling, but you can tell there's still gravity affecting her hair, pulling it down, right? Because she's falling. But look how it flows so much more naturally versus the girls on the spacecraft where it looks like it's just hairsprayed stunted. Like it's like stale. And this is a girl in a plane in 0G. So it's not even fully away from the gravitational pull. Technically, her hair, if it was more, it would even be flowing even more.
Well, you know, that's a good point too, is that
You can just look at it. You can
just
see that
because
it's more
there's
natural.
just because quote unquote there's less gravity where they're at doesn't mean there's none.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So that's why like the hair doesn't necessarily always stand straight up. It could.
That's why they
it
got to
moves.
hairspray it. Yep. That's why they got to hairspray it.
If there was zero gravity, then they wouldn't be able to control their motions almost at all.
Yeah. Well, they got something. It's something that's affecting it. I mean, like, even their body wouldn't even be able to function in total zero gravity because, like, their stomach acid would just, like, not dissolve your food. It wouldn't be able to go down your digestive tract. Like what kind of, like, just think about that. Like, it could go up your stomach and you could just start burping up your food.
What about the one where wasn't there? We showed a video on previous episodes where they were talking about water floating around and they had to have the water in a certain container, and then there's just a guy with just a cup full of water just sitting right over there, right in the side.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, you know what? Okay, I got one video, and I think this will likely be on the uncensored version because I don't know where this conversation will go, but this is a topic that before I ever got conspiratorial, I had lots of questions about this story. This is well before I ever started making content about things, but it was definitely a situation like I just really don't know how this story was so big, so hot, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared and like it's never talked about again other than people like us.
What are you thinking about?
What a brilliant video that was. What are you thinking about? It's like those memes of like the guy turning over like and he's on his phone or he's thinking, he's like, I wonder what he's thinking about. Is he thinking about another woman? And he's obviously not thinking about another woman. He's thinking about what the heck happened in Las Vegas during the Jason Aldean concert. I think on that note, we're going to leave it here. But man, really appreciate you guys watching and really appreciate you patrons. And if you guys are not patrons, please consider supporting this podcast on Patreon. You can watch these episodes early and uncensored. And as this episode likely did have some uncensored material, check it out over there. Also, if you guys want to get a great t-shirt, Brian's got the Hello Operator, Can I Speak to the Moon with Richard Nixon. So if you guys want to get that to really, wear your freak flag proudly here about that we don't believe they went to the moon. We don't believe they went to the moon today, and we don't believe they went to the moon in 1969. Also, if you guys want another t-shirt, you can get the Jesus Said the Be Haters. Obviously, we got those in stock. And also, if you want to support the sponsor of this podcast, Modern Roots Life, please check them out. Link in the description. Also, if you're looking for coaching for social media, check out the Echoes of Truth Network. We've got a great crew together, and it's only getting bigger and greater, so we're excited about that. Either way, I'm just glad you guys joined us and watched, and if you guys have watched to the end, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. God bless.